The Face. It was a night like any other. I had gone out with a couple of friends for a drink. It was a rather cold night, but otherwise very monotonous. Around midnight, we passed by an abandoned house. It was not the first time we passed by, but this time, there was something in the window. At first, it looked like a pink stain, but the more I looked at it, the more I saw details like various holes on the surface of the thing. I realized that it was a face, distorted, but a face. I asked my friends if they saw it. I was the only one to see it. Maybe I had drunk too much. We started walking again, shortly after I returned home and went to bed. The next morning, I started reading a magazine, and I noticed that in one of the windows of an advertisement for a house for sale, there was that face. Maybe he was half tired, I said to myself. I took my phone and started looking at some social media. I came across a selfie taken near a house. In the window was that face. I was starting to feel a sense of anxiety. I searched on Google for photos of houses. In each of those windows was that face distorted. I was feeling sick. I looked out the window, and in the window of my neighbor's house, there was that face with that crooked smile. I was officially terrified. I ran to my room and closed the door. What the hell was happening? I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to react, other than with fear. Maybe it was just a bad dream. By mistake, I looked at an old painting that depicted a young man. In the background, there was a house, and he was there. The paint used to paint him, it looked like wet dirt mixed with dirty water. I took the painting and turned it. The situation was becoming stupidly terrifying. I started sweating. What the hell? I have to do with this. I heard my phone ringing. It was the friend I went out with the night before. As soon as he answered me, he was in tears. He kept saying he saw a face everywhere. I told him I had the same problem. He told me that he couldn't take it anymore. It was everywhere. He couldn't do anything anymore. He told me he only wanted to die at that moment. I told him that there was no need to kill himself for something like this, but he kept telling me that he couldn't keep seeing that face. I asked him what the face looked like. The face he described was completely different from the one I had seen. His was green in color and was much chubbier than the one I saw. He told me how it laughed in his face as soon as he looked at it. Immediately after saying this, the phone went out. I was worried about him, but I didn't want to leave my room. I still saw that face. I left my house and started driving towards my friend's house. There was a face in every window of every house in my vicinity. As soon as I arrived, I started knocking. No one opened. I tried to force the door, but it didn't work. I called the police and explained everything to them. As soon as they arrived, they opened the door only to find my friend dead on the couch. He consumed a huge amount of pills. I left bitterly and called my other friend to tell him. From that moment, the face disappeared. I still blame myself for what happened. I was too slow. I was too scared. Trauma. What is life? Many people believe that life is one of the most beautiful things in the world. I think differently. In my opinion, life is a prison for the soul and the mind. For me, life is useless because nothing will matter anymore when all this is over. All the people I've met will die. I will die because everything is useless. This place isn't made for people like me. This life isn't made for me. Every single person I meet is stupider than the next. No one is like me. No one will be like me. They're all too busy thinking about their lives and their passions. How stupid their actions are. If only they opened their eyes, they could understand what life is. They could understand why everything they do is useless. But they don't do it. They continue to have fun and not have worries, when they should instead think about the meaning of their existence. One day, they will pay for what they did to me. At that point, they will open their eyes and realize all the mistakes they have made. But at that point, it will be too late. The day they understand what it feels like to be me, to know more than others, to be better than everyone. That day is very close, and that day will be the best day of my entire life. August 3rd, 1915. The outcome I feared the most has come to pass. Little Micah was taken today. Ma and Pa had him to replace George, saying that nothing could repair the pain in their hearts, but we at least had to try and move on. Pa would have throttled me if I told him how I really felt about it, so I tried to be happy for them. I tried to move on and forget. For whatever reason, we were allowed to. For the entirety of Ma's pregnancy, we heard that the other families in the villages were losing kids. When we would go into town, Pa and I would just look at each other, pretending we had no idea what they were talking about when they mentioned a well-dressed stranger. Half of them were convinced it was the devil himself. As more kids went missing, we felt guilty for being relieved I hadn't been taken yet. I guess I always knew we would be punished for that. 12 entire days. That was all we got with Micah. We were eating dinner. Ma was trying to get Micah to breastfeed when Pa looked past me out the window. I'd never seen my father make that face before. It was like someone had pressed a scorching fire poker into his chest and turned it. I tried to look out the window too, but he screamed at me to eat my food. I did, but I saw my parents glance at each other, and I knew what was happening. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw an impossibly tall and thin shape emerge from the fireplace, carefully walking over to our table. It had arms dancing all over itself. Micah began to wail. Ma just held him, trying to quiet him down. Pa grumbled that all we had to do was ignore it. He started to pray. He didn't even believe in God. As the thing in our house came closer to us, it took all my willpower not to peek, to just keep eating my potatoes and hope it would pass like a storm. Micah's crying became intolerable. I could feel its presence getting closer to me specifically, and I almost vomited when I felt it place a hand on my shoulder. Pa slammed his hands on the table, making me jump. He stood up and screamed at it, saying that it was his house, and I was his child, and whatever it wasn't allowed to take any more from us. I don't know why, but I chose that moment to look up at our tormentor. It could have been the devil, as it presented itself as a man, a well-dressed stranger, but without the appeal of any facial features. It was as if someone had rubbed cement all over its face years ago, and it hardened, leading to this thing having only a smooth, grey head. It cocked its head at my father, and then tapped its finger on my shoulder. In the midst of my terror, I hadn't even realized that Micah had stopped crying. I found the strength to look away from the stranger and to my brother, who was cooing happily and looking up at it. It took its hand off me, and I could hear its body creaking. Pa started to say no, but it was too late. My mother fell under the stranger's spell as well, handing Micah over to it as you would hand your baby to a friend. In the time it took Pa to get the gun, the stranger and my brother were gone. Ma has gone completely silent. I think looking at that thing took something from her. Pa, he hasn't stopped screaming. As I write this in my room by the candle, I wonder why it didn't take me instead. It touched me first, just like it did to George. If it was the devil, I doubt my father really discouraged it by shouting. Even now, I can feel it standing outside my window, although I'd rather not turn and look again. I wonder if it's because of this very journal. Once this village is exhausted of children, perhaps my records will be found, and it can start again. I'm sorry, George. I'm sorry, baby Micah. I would have gladly gone in both of your places. I wish your souls were resting easy, but I do not think this thing would allow it. 3 more tales of horror, of different kinds. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Be sure to submit your stories to the subreddit r/NateAtNight Network, and there's a good chance they'll get featured on this channel. Also, I really can't do this without all of your love and support. Being able to watch my videos, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, all of it helps. But if you want to help a little bit more, become a member today. What that gets you access to are custom loyalty badges, which can be used in the live streams. You've got your name in the credits roll after every video. You also get early access to new videos and members exclusive versions of those, which will be ad-free. There's also members exclusive videos, which you can only get by being a member. There's also, just as really sweeten the deal, access to my private Discord server where you also get an exclusive role. In the Discord, you can hang out with other like-minded individuals, where we also do occasional hangouts and a monthly movie night. This month, we're watching the Exit 8 movie. I'm pretty excited, didn't realize they had one. Thank you all so very much, and we'll see you next time.